The sun hung low over the red Arizona hills, burning the land gold as the wind rolled through the tall grass. Eli, the young rancher, was mending a broken fence when he saw her, taller than any woman he'd ever seen, skin bronzed like the desert itself, eyes sharp as stormlight. She moved with the power of a legend, but the sadness in her face made her human. She was the giant Apache sister, known by whispers across the frontier. Her people said she could lift a horse with one arm and silence a man with a stare. Yet, when she approached Eli's ranch, her strength seemed buried under exhaustion. "You have water?" she asked, her voice deep, soft, trembling with something he didn't yet understand. Eli offered his canteen, hands shaking as their fingers brushed. The touch sent a shiver down his spine, like lightning caught between fear and fascination. "You've come far," he said quietly. She nodded. "Far enough to forget who I was," she murmured. Her tone wasn't proud or broken, it was lonely. He led her toward the barn, where shade and silence wrapped around them. The scent of hay mixed with the warmth of her presence, filling the air with something he couldn't name. She towered over him, yet there was gentleness in her movements, as if she feared breaking the world around her. "You live here alone?" she asked. Eli nodded. "After my pa died, I kept the ranch going." Her gaze softened. "A man without kin, a woman without rest," she said. The way her words hung in the air made his chest ache. They ate together by lamplight, bread, beans, and quiet glances. Her laughter, when it came, was low and unexpected, echoing in the wooden walls like music from another life. "You are not afraid of me," she said, surprised. Eli met her eyes. "Maybe I should be," he answered. "But I'm not." Outside, a storm gathered. The first drops of rain tapped against the roof. She stood by the open door, wine tugging at her long dark hair. "I haven't felt safe in months," she said. "Men fear me, men chase me, but you look at me like I'm just a woman." Eli's heart pounded. "You are," he whispered. She turned to him, her shadow stretching across the wooden floor. Her eyes glowed with something between sorrow and courage. "Then I'll say something no man has heard from me before," she said quietly, almost to herself. "I haven't been touched in 6 months," she confessed, her voice trembling. "Not by kindness, not by gentleness." Eli froze, his breath shallow. She wasn't talking about lust. She was talking about connection, about being seen. He took a slow step closer. "You deserve better than fear," he said softly. Her eyes met his, two storms meeting in stillness. For the first time, she didn't look like a legend. She looked human, tired, and beautiful. The thunder cracked, and she flinched, a reflex from too many nights running from violence and betrayal. Eli moved without thinking, placing his coat over her shoulders. "You can stay here tonight," he said. "No one will harm you." She hesitated, then nodded, the strength in her face melting into relief. "You trust me?" she asked. "I do," he replied. "Even if you don't trust yourself yet." They sat by the fire later that night. She told him of raids, betrayals, and the weight of being born stronger than most men, how that strength became both shield and curse. Eli listened, eyes never leaving hers. When the fire dimmed, silence wrapped them again. She looked at him and smiled faintly. "You're different," she said. "You don't see a giant. You see a woman." He smiled back. "And maybe," he said, "a heart worth knowing." Dawn spilled over the desert like a slow fire. The giant Apache sister woke before the sun fully rose, finding herself still wrapped in Eli's coat. He had fallen asleep in the chair beside the hearth, hat over his eyes, a faint smile softening his face. She studied him quietly, this simple rancher who had offered her peace when the world had offered only fear. She stepped outside, letting the wind whip through her hair. The smell of rain lingered, and with it, memories she wished she could forget. Her people had scattered, her family gone. But here, in this quiet ranch, something felt different, lighter. When Eli joined her, carrying 2 tin cups of coffee, their fingers brushed again, and that brief touch felt like home. "You didn't run," he said softly. "Most would have by now." She smiled, faint and tired. "I've been running my whole life," she whispered. "But something about your land, about you, made me want to stop." He looked into her eyes, a mix of gentleness and strength he had never seen before. Maybe that's what we both needed, he said. A place to stop running. She tilted her head, a teasing glint appearing in her gaze. You talk like an old man, but your heart is still learning. Eli laughed. The sound broke the morning's silence. Maybe, he said, but I learn fast. She smiled, that rare, breathtaking smile that melted away her fierceness for a moment. The desert wind seemed to pause around them. By noon, they were working side by side, fixing fences, feeding horses. Every simple gesture between them carried unspoken meaning. She found herself laughing more, her voice rich and low. Eli, for the first time in years, felt alive again, like each breath carried promise. That evening, she told him of a dream she had, one where she built a home near the canyon, where no man ordered her and no shadow hunted her. Would you stay there with me? She asked quietly, her tone uncertain. Eli didn't answer with words. He reached for her hand and squeezed it gently. I already am, he whispered. But peace is never simple. As the stars rose, riders appeared on the horizon, armed, shouting, dust swirling like smoke. Her face hardened. They followed me, she said, voice low. Eli stood beside her, unafraid. Then they'll have to face both of us. The attackers dismounted, demanding she surrender. She stepped forward, every inch the legend they feared, but Eli's hand on her shoulder stopped her. No more running, no more fighting. Let me talk, he said. His calmness disarmed even her. Eli spoke to them, about mercy, about how the war had taken enough. Something in his voice, steady and pure, cut through the tension. One by one, the riders lowered their weapons. The storm that had followed her for months finally broke. When the dust cleared, the men rode away in silence, leaving the ranch untouched. She turned to Eli, disbelief in her eyes. You stopped them, she breathed. No, we stopped them, he said. Because we didn't let hate speak first. That night, the fire burned brighter than ever. She sat beside him, their shoulders touching, the distance between them gone. You gave me something no one ever did, she whispered. Peace. He smiled. You gave me something too, courage. The wind howled outside, but inside, warmth filled the space between them. She rested her head on his shoulder, closing her eyes for the first time without fear. He wrapped an arm around her, careful, steady, as if holding something sacred. Months later, travelers passing through spoke of a strange pair, a gentle rancher and a towering Apache woman living together in the hills. Some called it legend, others called it love. But for them, it was simple, two hearts that had found each other when the world had given up. And this time, neither of them ever ran again.